friends and welcome to Obsidian Soft. Today, I will teach you how to make an easy but impressive app in MIT App Inventor, a diary app with pictures. We enter a date and provide some text for our diary entry. And then we have a choice. We can either take a picture using the camera component, or we can choose an image using the image picker. And then I can click on Save. You can see that all the entries are coming in the list view. If I tap on one and press the view button, I can view it on the next screen. Similarly, I can delete entries too. So let's begin. Open up MIT App Inventor, go to Project, start a new project. Let's call it Diary App. Keep the toolkit default. This is super important. Click on OK. In Screen 1's properties, make Align Horizontal Center. Make screen orientation portrait, and this is important, turn on this scrollable checkbox. From the layout palette, add a horizontal arrangement, and in its properties, make align horizontal, align vertical, both center, make the height 15% and the width fill parent. Duplicate this horizontal arrangement by selecting it and pressing Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V on the keyboard for Windows or Command+C, Command+V for Mac OS. I want another one, so duplicate the second arrangement. So I have 3 arrangements now. In the topmost arrangement, I want to put a text box and I am going to make it read only. Okay. So this will just contain the date chosen by the user and it will just display it. So I'm going to rename it to date text. As you know, renaming is important. And then I need a date picker on the right of it. So here it goes. Okay. Change the text to choose date. Okay. Next, between these 2 horizontal arrangements, I want to put a text box. Okay. And I'm going to rename it to entry text. And I'm also going to give it a height of 15% and the width of 90%. And I'm going to change the hint to enter diary entry. Okay. And below this, I need an image component for containing the image that has been chosen or taken by the user. And then in this horizontal arrangement, I'm going to put in some buttons. So I need a button from user interface and I'm going to rename it to camera button and change the text accordingly to camera. At this moment, you can also give it a background color, but for the sake of saving time, I'm not going to do any beautification. So camera button, select it and duplicate it. And now rename it to save button and change the text accordingly to save. Okay. And between these 2 buttons, I want to put an image picker, which is inside the media palette. So just put it there and change the text to choose pick. Okay. Now here I want a list view. So user interface, list view. Okay. And in its properties, this is very important that you make its width fill parent and this list view layout. This is important that you change it to image main text. Okay. This is how images will be displayed in the list view. So it is important that you change this layout, okay? And I'm also going to turn on this show filter bar so that our list view is searchable, okay? Now just duplicate this button and just bring it down in the last arrangement, and I'm going to rename it to view button and change the text accordingly to view, select it and duplicate it, rename it to delete button, and then change the text to delete. Now we also need some invisible components. So from sensors, I need a clock. From storage, I need my TinyDB for storing the data. I also need a notifier for showing any error messages, and I need a camera component from media. So here it goes. So 4 invisible components: clock, TinyDB, notifier, and camera. And I'm going to also quickly make another screen. So click on add screen and click on OK. And in its properties, make align horizontal, align vertical, both center. I need an image component. I need a label. I need another label, and I need a button. So just quickly make this screen for showing the data. So the first label is our date label that will contain the date of our diary entry, and this rename it to entry label, okay? And this rename it to back button and change the text accordingly to back, okay? So our screen design is done. So let's go to the block section and choose screen 1 here, okay? We need a global variable for our diary entries, which is an empty list, and get the screen 1's initialize event. And here what we are going to do is that we are going to call our date picker and set it to the current date. So this call set date to display from instant, and that is why we needed the clock component, because we wanted to get the current date from it. So click on clock, scroll down, and we have this clock.now that will give us the current date. And now we want to display it in our date text. Remember the read-only date text? Click on date text and get its set text block, which is a join of 5 things. So click on the cogwheel to add more to it. So 5 strings, okay? And the first one is date picker dot day. So here we go, this, and then I want to put a text block that says slash. So, and then I can right click, duplicate, and this is now the month. Right click, duplicate, again a slash, right click, duplicate, and this is now the year. Okay. The initialize event is still not complete because we still need to load some data here, but let's save some data first so that it makes sense when we are loading it. If the user clicks on the date picker to choose a date, then after picking the date, this event after date set is triggered. So get this event, and here we just need to duplicate it and plug this in. So whatever date has been picked by the user, it will be now reflected in our date text, the read-only text box. If the user clicks on the image picker and chooses an image, after picking event is triggered. And the code is simple here. Just set our image components picture, so this one, to whatever has been selected in the image picker, which we can get from the image picker, this image picker dot selection. Okay. When the camera button is clicked, simple code there, we're just going to call the camera components take picture procedure. And you know that whenever this procedure is called and a picture is successfully taken, cameras after picture event is triggered and this image is a path. So I can actually right click and duplicate, bring it down, the setting image to picture property, remove this, hover over image and set this to the path of the picture taken by the camera. Now get the save button click event. So where is our save button? Here it is. Get its click event. And we are going to first check using the controls if then else block that our picture isn't empty and the user has entered some text in our entry text box. This one, okay? So from logic, get the AND block, and from again logic, get the equal to block, make it not equal to, and go to image and get its picture block, which will tell us whatever is inside the image picture, and check that it is not equal to empty. Similarly, right click, duplicate, and now we are going to check that our entry text is not empty. So some data has been entered by the user for that diary entry. And if it is not empty, then we can proceed. Otherwise, in the else, we need to show an error message. And how can we do that? We can use the notifiers show alert block, and we can say something like this, that please provide a picture and or enter text in diary entry. Okay. And here, now coming back where we have to do the actual saving, we are going to first make a local variable, and that is entry, and we are going to construct it by using the lists, make a list block, and each of our diary entry has 3 things in it. Okay. And the order is whatever is inside our date text, whatever is inside our entry text, and whatever is inside our image picture, which I can duplicate from here. Okay. Once we have constructed it, we're just going to add it to our diary entries list. So from lists, get the add items to list block, and here the list is our diary entries, the global diary entries, and the item is this one that we constructed. Okay. And then we have to store this in the TinyDB. So click on TinyDB and get its store value procedure, and we provided the diary entries in the value to store slot, and the tag, you have to remember the tag because the tag is used when you load the data too. So I'm going to call it entries. Okay. And next, this is the important part, how to put all the image data and the entry data inside a list view. So click on list view and get the add item block. Okay. And here the main text is our date text. Okay. And our detailed text is the diary entry, and our image name is image picture. So same as that, and this saving part is done. Now go back to your initialize event, this one, and now we are going to load the data. So how can we load the data? We're just going to assign our diary entries global list to whatever is returned by the TinyDB. So this one, against the tag entries. So I would like to copy it from here and paste it here, the tag. Okay, so the spellings are super important. And otherwise, if there's no data in the diary yet, so value, if tag is not there, is an empty list. Okay. And now once our diary entries is loaded, we have to show the data, existing data inside the list view. So for that, we are going to go through our list of diary entries by using a control for each item block. And in which list? Our diary entries that we just loaded. So get block and diary entries. Okay. Let me clean up the code. Okay. So here, so we're going to go through the list and keep on adding data to our list view. Again, by calling the ListView dot add item block. And here the main text. Now remember how we stored the data. We stored the data in this order that each entry, the main text was inside the first slot. The second slot had the detailed text. And the third slot had the image picture. So we are going to load it in the same way. So here, main text is inside the index 1 of this item. So from lists, get the select list item block. List is our item, which is a 3-itemed list, and the index is 1. Okay. Right click, duplicate, plug this in, make it 2. Right click, duplicate, make it 3. So the loading part is done. So let's work on the view button click event. So click on this view button and get its click event. And when it is clicked, first of all, I need to check that the user has selected something in the list view by tapping on it. So I'm going to use the control if then else block, and I am going to check that something is not equal to 0. So math 0 and not equal to. And what is not equal to 0? List view's selection index. So if it is equal to 0, it means nothing has been selected by the user. So scroll down and here it is, selection index. So if selection index is not equal to 0, only then I'm going to proceed to open the next screen for viewing. Otherwise, I'm going to use the notifier again to show an error message or alert message that please select a diary entry first. Okay. So in the if condition, if something has been selected by the user, I'm just going to call controls, open another screen, and here I'm going to choose screen 2. And the start value is what? It is the data that has been selected by the user. So how can I get that? From lists, get the select list item block. And here remember the list is our diary entries and the index is the selection index. The entry that has been selected by the user, we are going to send it to the next screen to be displayed there. Okay, so simple, isn't it? And if the delete button is clicked, so what is the code for that? Get the click event. So again, we need to check similarly that the user has selected something. So I can actually duplicate the whole checking block and get rid of the open another screen block. And here I'm just going to remove it first from our lists, the selection index, the item at the selection index. So this one, remove list item. The list is our diary entries. Again, get block from variables, diary entries, and the index is the selection index. And then I am also going to remove it from the list view. So list view, and we have this remove item at index, and again selection index here too. And we are now going to store the updated list in the TinyDB. Right click, duplicate, and that is the value to store, and the tag is an empty string that should specify the exact tag. Remember, I had copied it earlier, so entries. Okay, so this tag is super important. If you write something else here, then data will not be loaded or stored properly. Okay, what next? Now, simple code for our screen 2, because the screen 1 is done. Let's go to screen 2. Just make a global variable for our diary entry, a 3-item list. So create list, empty list log. And then when the screen is initialized, first of all, set this diary entry to the start value. Remember, we send the data to the screen. When we open the screen with the start value, we send some data there, and we can get that data by using this get start value block. So now we have the data of the diary entry chosen by the user, and we just need to display it very quickly. So date label, set the text to, remember, the first item in this list. So diary entry index 1. Okay, right click, duplicate, change this to entry label 2, and we also have an image component here, so set its picture to the third item in this list. Okay, and very simple code for our back button. Just get the click event, and we are just going to use controls close screen. Do not use close application, close screen. So it will just close the screen and take us back to screen 1. So we are done. This cool diary app with pictures is done. If you like this tutorial, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also kindly subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss the great projects that I have planned for you. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and goodbye.